Testing. Blah, 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 blah.
Ready, set, go.
It's time for the Coach Amy and Coach Liz show.
A podcast for endurance athletes by two athletes, two coaches, and a physical therapist.
We are your hosts, Coach Amy
And Coach Liz.
coming to you from
Kansas City.
Okay, hello peeps. We're back for another show. Today we're going to talk a little bit about mindset, which we've talked a lot about the headspace in our episodes. But I had a patient come in and this isn't just solely her, right? This is a lot of people. This is why we're talking about it today. This is screwing our eyes. Okay. So this is a triathlete, and has been doing triathlon for a long time, but aging, and realizing some of the changes that are going on in her body, and yes, she's coming in for an injury, but aside from that, right, it's her mindset and how she approaches triathlon now, either in terms of her intensity for training, her expectations for race, and her distance. So changes in those things because of her age. Not to say that you can't be getting older and doing longer distances. I'm not saying that. For her, it was the right thing to pull back on those distances. But what I loved about her attitude is she was one of those people that was pretty competitive and, had good times. And now she's like, and people pass me, and it's so hard. It's so hard to have that passing feeling, especially if you're super competitive. You don't like that. And then not being able to achieve the same paces that she had achieved or hitting PRs like she used to do. But I loved her mindset. It was super positive. And she's Olympic distance is going to be the farthest distance that she does right now. And not because of injury, because of the training and the load and how much it takes on her. But she said a couple of things. She says, I'm still moving. These are positives, right? And I'm out here moving, and that's what counts. Because the worst thing we can do as we age is to not move, is to quit or to stop. So, but it can be important to be modifying, so that, if you used to train 6 days a week, training 4 or 5 days a week is okay. And mixing it up and adding some other things that are going to allow you to have more rest and recovery so that you can not break yourself down as you're aging, but keep yourself moving. And I just loved the positive mindset, because one way to go is the negative mindset, which is, I'm not achieving anymore. I'm going to give up. This is why, I'm not going to do this now. I can't do what I used to be. I'm not what I used to be. And just kind of walking away from the sport or walking away from being active and healthy. Mm-hmm. I see people for, maybe they need help with recovery. Maybe they have some, little niggles and injuries that are popping up. And sometimes those will explode into larger ones, especially if you don't address them early, which a lot of my patients have learned to do, is address earlier. But when people come in and they're like, oh my God, I'm breaking down, the world's ending, it's horrible. And I think, you know what? I would rather have some little niggles or some injuries or need help with recovery as I'm aging and trying to stay active, because the counterparts that they don't see are the people that are their age and even younger, who are couch potatoes, who have way more. Maybe they don't have a musculoskeletal injury, but they've got heart, kidney, lung, all kinds of other issues that are breaking them down that are way worse. So that's my plug for positive mindset. Keep on moving, even if it isn't what you used to do, and have a positive mindset about that. I know you have something to add.
I have a lot to add.
She was sitting here. I was talking to her. I could see her bottling up, waiting to spurt out, because you are so about that mindset. So let's hear what you have to say.
I mean, I just feel like it's very hard. I have some athletes that really, really struggle with, and especially if they were somebody that was really competitive and did very well athletically. I think that's hard, but I think if you have a choice. You can either, if you want to stay competitive and reaching new and different goals, then you have to train differently as you get older, and you have to respect, you know, the people that are most successful that I see as they age are people who still want, you know, if they still want to be really competitive and aggressive, they are willing to listen to the feedback their body gives them and adjust the rest. And, you know, instead of like, you know, I used to be able to do X, Y, or Z, and now I can't, instead of getting upset and like frustrated with their body that's working really hard for them, they are able to say, you know, I tested that limit. It's too much. Here's what I can still do. It's still going to push me. I'm still going to get the feeling of being successful. And they, you know, they're graceful about it.
Yes.
Right? And your body is giving you feedback about what you can and you cannot do. And you have a choice to listen to that and figure out how you can still push yourself, or you can keep running into a physical wall because you hurt yourself and a mental disaster, and it's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a good point that you make where it's like you can still be like don't compare yourself with your time or what you used to be able to get. I like the fact that you can still push and challenge yourself.
Yes.
And it's not about what that time was, or what that, it's that you're still pushing yourself to what your body can do at that moment. And that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Right there. I love that. So, okay.
It's
people,
important. I think
get
it's so
your
important.
head screwed on right.
Well,
people.
you know, it's
It's
so
hard.
important. And it's important for our mental health to continue to engage, you know, as we get older, and that may change, but that doesn't make it any less valid or any less hard.
Right. Yep. Exactly. I just, even from personal experience, I'm just glad that I'm settled in my mind about where I'm at right now. You know,
Which is hard.
It's
that is the biggest thing, because it's not your body
Yeah.
that's like not letting you do this gracefully. It is
Right.
your mind.
Yes.
So it's your mind. It's a mindset
that's the
work.
mindset. And I guess I guess I'm just thankful that my mind was ready at the time that my body
That's
is
a
ready.
gift. Because when it's
very
not
lucky.
ready, I see the consequences of that, and it honestly, it's really devastating. It's devastating.
It's a struggle.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really, like, the damage that you do to your body when you're not able to make those adjustments, and, you know, it really, if it becomes, it's such a big part of identity for people.
Yes.
And when you age and that changes and you're not able to let that go, it is really, really hard.
It's
and
really
I
hard.
have, you know, I see it. I work with people every day where that's, the consequences of that are real.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
When it's like you said, the identity, there's this whole identity of this is who I am, this is who I've been. But there's also this social connection, and that is really hard as well, because I've had some people who've had, and this isn't like a physical therapy and musculoskeletal injury, but something else in their life that just makes it so they can no longer run, like a other physical organ type issue. And it's so it's sad because you see, well, those are my people, and I cannot spend time with those people anymore because I'm not running. And it's like, encourage you to go and walk and then meet up after for coffee. And I encourage that with our run group, because we have some aging people that are, you know, they're running much, much, much less distance. It used to be, we're training 20-mile runs. Now they're coming out for 4 to 6 miles. But we still stay after for coffee, and it's just, you can still be a part of that. Figure out a way for your social network to continue, just because you maybe are not operating at the same training level as those people anymore. And your friends, you can still be a part of their lives. It doesn't, you don't have to let go of that. Be creative, work with it. Because those people, they love you. They're still going to embrace you. And if they don't,
you would
then
do it for
poof,
somebody
poof,
else.
Exactly.
Right. And, you know, I mean,
Exactly.
and I do think especially, you know, they talk so much, and they've done a lot of, you know, the studies on loneliness, and they talk about, like, I read there was a study that came out about, you know, how, like, your social life and what you've cultivated in your 40s and 50s really gives a lot of indication about, like, how well you're going to age. And so as you're aging, and, you know, like, if you're having a robust social network is one of the biggest factors that influences how you age. So figuring out how to go do that. And you know, as you do that, you have to have a grace with yourself. Like, if your friends are running 20 miles and you've got 4 miles, you know, you may go later and then meet them for coffee, but it's, you know, it's you owe it to yourself to keep that social circle as well as that physical fitness going.
Yes. And there's also other social circles to join.
There
Like,
are.
so I have some patients that I think were like, they're older, not triathletes, not necessarily runners, but they're in that phase of their life, like the retirement phase. So maybe that social network that was associated with their job or their profession is changing. All their circles are changing. And then of course I am promoting, to being active, and there's so many things out there. There's the swing dancing. I have one gal who is older, used to be a runner a long, long time ago. She's doing tap dancing. Her husband, who is flirted with some strokes, has joined the water aerobics and this thing called cardio drumming. And it's like, those new relationships, those new things, that new exciting thing. It's not that you have to let the other thing go and just completely cook cold turkey or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that, but reaching out and finding those other things too that are going to be good for your health and your social stuff.
It's so good for your brain and for your body, and it really affects how you age.
Yes. So you know what? I've decided I'm going to go try. Well, there's two things I'm going to do. There's two things. Now, I'm gonna flirt around, not as a whole new thing, like I'm gonna be but just go experience and then see. And one of them is bow hunting, but I'm not gonna kill animals with it because I just can't do that, but I can hit targets. So I'm gonna learn how to do that. And the other thing is Krav Maga. Have you heard of this? It's like a martial arts self-defense type thing. And I looked it up. It looks super intense, but then I was like, David knows some people who at his work who do it, and they're super excited. They're like, oh, we love new people and everything. And I was like, okay, but how old are those people that are at work? And I was like, David, are they like in their 50s? And he's like, well, I can't really tell. They could be 20, they could be 30. I'm like, okay. So then I looked it up. I Googled, do people in their 50s start doing that martial art? And it was like absolutely 100%.
Hell yes.
Yes, but it looks like super. I think if you pull up some Google, some YouTube videos on it, it's like crazy, like throw this person down on the mat. It's not all like that, right? I hope not, because I'm, I don't need to be thrown down on a mat. I feel like that's too physical. But I like the idea of the self-defense, and it did say it was for all age ranges. So if you find the right gym, it's kind of like you find the right instructors and stuff.
Did you think you were going to gloss over bow hunting and I wasn't going to come back to that? Like, I have not heard one word you said. I just have like, where are you? Do you bow hunt in your backyard?
No. Okay, so
you're gonna be creeping around the neighborhood with your bow hunt and your helmet.
Now you better watch out. If you're running too slowly,
Is that archery? I mean, it's like archery.
Yeah, it is.
Except at a moving target. Is that why it's different?
Not necessarily. I don't know yet. My neighbor is really good at it, and they have their own bows and stuff, and they actually do go, like hunting.
I know
animals
people
with
do.
It,
I just, it's not even. I think it's weird. I just
did,
like that is the last thing that I thought come with. Like I was like, I just didn't think that you were gonna say that.
Yeah. I mean, so branching out, new things.
I mean, it's great. It's so good for us.
It is. So anyway, stay tuned for the outcome of this.
Thanks so much for listening. And remember,
we are in this together. Until next time.